Hey man, how are you? This is the Photographer Mindset podcast. I'll address the folks first before I talk to you, I guess. This is where you come weekly to get in the right headspace as a photographer, videographer, learn some things. We talk about developing some mental fortitude with your photography, with your creative craft, getting 1% better each day, that kind of stuff. And we speak from experience, things that have worked for us in progressing our careers, our hobby, our passion, and things that have made us fall flat on our face, that you can avoid some of those pitfalls. And while understanding that they're inevitable. I'm Seth. This is Aaron. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. I just got running. Thanks for meeting with me later than maybe usual.
Hey, I'm happy for you. I'm happy you're getting you're eating miles, dinner miles.
Dinner miles. I got the bug. I got the bug again.
New shoes coming.
Sticks along. Yeah, updated Garmin coming. Jeez.
Yeah, we were talking before we press record. You're somebody who sometimes it takes buying a little bit of new gear to get you into the maybe upping the intensity of the focus. Is that the best way to word it?
Yeah, investment. I think if you're willing to put in some money, some coin, then for me, I think it motivates me, at least in this early phase, to use it, to utilize the new tool, or whether it's a new camera or a cool new drone, or whatever it may be. If that motivates you to go a little bit harder or have fun, honestly, having fun using it. I've loved my Garmin watch I've had it probably 5-6 years now. Really have liked it. It's lasted a long time. And I just wanted to update it. And I did. So
I remember when you got your Sony A7R5, you were giddy.
Yeah, I still am.
Still am. You're not somebody who gets buyer's remorse then. That's a good antidote for buyer's remorse, because you get your new gear that you've spent your hard-earned money on, and I feel like you're off to the races. Never have I seen your new gear idle.
No, I'm not idle. I think I do have a minute of maybe the very next day before it gets there. Like while it's in purgatory, it's ready to be shipped. I have a moment of did I really need to do that? You
cancel it on your credit card, but it still ships.
Right. There
you go. Scumbag. Yeah.
Good move.
Today's episode is going to be about, we had a listener message in, Garrett Hess. Hopefully you don't mind me mentioning you, buddy. Thanks for the I'll mention his handle. That's at Garrett Hess _photo. Had a good suggestion. Wanted to know if we had ever done an episode or episodes, or would consider doing one, on brand ambassadorship, how to become one, the ins and outs, the responsibilities. As you all know, I am a Tamron ambassador. They're a sponsor of the show. 500px ambassador. Aaron, you have done a ton of work for Stio.
Yep.
I consider you an ambassador of all the cabins that you've beautifully photographed and videoed, because you're always welcome back at them.
Thanks.
And so I think we can make for a great episode talking about, I don't know, how to get started, building relationships, what being a brand ambassador entails, whether it's as cool or as sexy as maybe your favorite social media person makes it seem. Spoiler, it might not be. Some of the benefits and challenges, and maybe some tips for people who are aspiring to hook up with a brand of any size. And all while sharing our personal journey, because that's all we can do.
Yeah, I think we both have some experience there and can give some of our insights to what it's been like. Is it worth it? Does it feel good? Is it something that we aspire to keep doing?
Sure.
Where does it serve us?
Sure.
And them and the clients.
Yes. Well, as the person who has presented you this idea for an episode, I will go first just to get us into it. I think a good place is, of course, obviously, how to get started. How did you land your first ambassador role? This is really interesting to me because of the two brand ambassadorships that I have, both came to be in completely different ways. So we'll start with 500px, which if you're not familiar with, is another, I don't even think it's a social media platform. I don't really know. I feel like it's just a platform to share your photography. If that's all you care about is consuming and posting photography, great place for you to go to is 500px. That's why I like the platform so much. So because of that, I started on that platform with the goal in mind or with the intent of, this is going to be my escape from Instagram. This is going to be my escape from rage bait, virality, all that stuff. It's not even social media anymore. It's really just media, right? This is going to be my break from that. This is going to be a chance for me to share my photos that I think are good with zero pressure, and hopefully people who are also interested in just consuming photography enjoy them or don't, whatever. I'm just going to do this. And I was committed to posting nearly every day on that platform, starting at an audience of 0 followers. And I think maybe I'll rewind. Every week, there was more of an audience just following my work, which was nice. It meant, I guess, people wanted to hang around and see more, which is validating. That's cool. I didn't have to be trendy or do any crazy dances. People were just there to see photography, right? Did that for a year or two. Got a follower count up into the high thousands before 5 figures. They had quests, which were just basically competitions that had different categories. So it could be like best winter landscape or best wildlife photo. I remember winning a best winter landscape shot. It was actually the one that beat Brooke Little Bear, if you're listening, when we did that East versus West contest back in. Remember that? It won. So I was like so excited that, some of the editors at this company said, hey, your photo is the best of the rest in this particular category. It was a real feel-good moment. Put a little badge on my profile. It says at the time that said, hey, you won this competition on their platform. Continued to post, just stuck with it. And one of the people at the company in charge of running their blog, they had a guest section, I guess, a guest feature thing that they would do with photographers. They wanted a Canadian wildlife photographer. So they reached out to me, and there's that saying, I think they actually mentioned that they remembered me from that quest that I had won. Asked me if I wanted to be interviewed via email, right, where they send you questions, you answer them. And it would form a blog. And I said, absolutely, I would love to do that. And so that happened. It went really well. In my opinion, they thought so too. Shared it in all kinds of places. And then there was another big contest that 500px was running. It was a wildlife contest. They asked me if I wanted to be a judge for it. I said, yes, absolutely. I would love to judge this. After I said yes, they informed me that it paid like a good amount of money just for judging and going through selections and picking. So I was like, that's a nice little bonus that I didn't know was coming. So I guess little mini nugget there is, you never know what little bonuses are hiding around corners when you say yes to small things, right? At that point, I just said, after those 3 things, I had written to my contact and I just said, hey, I noticed there's some people on your profile who have this ambassador checkmark. I would really like to have one of those. I feel like we have a really good working connection. We've done this, and this. So reminding them of essentially case studies. What would it take to be considered an ambassador officially with one of those? And the response was, it's been a pleasure working with you too. The things we've worked on together have been really great. We already consider you an ambassador. Person X will get your badge hooked up right away. So that was that.
Wow.
And beyond that, just making 2 really great connections at that company with 2 individuals who are no longer there. But I mean, that's another thing. Those connections don't go away, right? Like they're probably going to stay in this industry most likely. And I think, not to get too far ahead of myself, but though being a brand ambassador, the most valuable thing is those connections that you make with people inside of the company. So thoughts, I'll stop. That one's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it all circles back to, we just talked with Nooch, and we've said it many times before, but putting good work out there, number one. And I think having a true passion for any product. In this sense, it was, you had a true passion for this app that was an escape from Instagram. So it was something that was utilized by you for real, not reels, people,
Right.
for real.
Yeah.
And that shines through.
Right.
Just to tie it in personally, I think every really successful connection or contract or client that I've landed comes from some sort of tangible love for their product or idea with their product or proof of work or proof of concept. So that is the start to, I think, a lot of these ambassador sort of ideas is, or connections and relationships, is it's got to come from, I think it's coming from you. I think we all want these people to reach out to us and invite us to be the next ambassador of their company and promote all their stuff. And here's all our free stuff, and we're going to pay you. And I don't know how much it happens that way, versus it was such an easy shoe-in for Seth to have the work, have the scope of work, have the relationships, have the interviews, put in the effort, and then just ask the question, hey, can we do this together? We've had a good relationship so far. Look at all the work that we've done. Look at the contest, look at the judging, look at the interviews. And it was then a quick, oh, absolutely, let's get that badge on there right away.
Yeah. And about that, I think it's important to address that. What's the importance of the badge for me? I think it's a number of reasons. I think, one, it's an indicator of, hey, you did something kind of cool. Here's your little trophy or medal. Not that I feel I need that, but it's just like it's like an official attaboy, right? Two, obviously there is social proof with that. I could go to other brands and say, if when appropriate in a pitch, I'm also a brand ambassador for 500px. That holds a ton of value, I think. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I think number three, I get to be an advocate for a platform that you mentioned that I really love and enjoyed and kind of fell into naturally. And four, if I continue to post, maybe my posts like carry a little bit more weight and maybe an audience is easier to build. I say that fourth because it's probably fourth in the order of the level of that I care compared to those other things. I mean, sure, building a following is great. Does it do a ton in my experience? For me, not really, but at least more people are seeing your work in that sense. So I guess the question, we'll get to Tamron, but what steps do you take to get noticed? There wasn't really any crazy actionable steps. It was, like you said, on a platform because I want to be there. I enjoy it. I mean, this could be synonymous with a product. I'm using a product because I love it, just naturally. The work was good. And after a few case studies, I asked for what I wanted. We talked before we pressed record just about our tendencies to overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
So hopefully that level of simplicity is helpful in a way.
Yeah, I think a key point, and I think we get into the trap. Social media is the trap of, if you do the right post or you have the right picture or the right timing or someone sees it, like your world will change. You'll win the lotto. And there's a lot of focus and effort on your own work and putting it out there. But I feel like a lot of people miss the next step, which is like kind of shoving it in people's faces. and asking questions. And it's like, I could tag a company every photo that I ever do, and nothing will ever come of it, But if you keep trying to email someone from the company and have a conversation, and you get a conversation, your chances of being heard or seen or even looked into are just 1,000 times more. So I think there's a bit of go getting it that needs to happen, and not be afraid of. People shouldn't be afraid of asking the question, and people might say, no, we're not looking for that, or we don't have those kinds of positions, or we don't do that. That's fine. But at least you asked, and and you can now put your focus somewhere else. Versus like constantly just trying to tag a company and hoping that they ask you to, be the next photographer for their team.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I was with Ian around this time last year in Pittsburgh, we were doing a Tamron takeover. Mm-hmm. So we had access to the Instagram account for a certain, I think like 24 hours, where we could respond to people and post stories and do all that fun stuff. You would be amazed. What does Tamron have? Like almost 200,000 followers, which isn't even that crazy on Instagram. The amount of tags and mentions and DMs is insane. My point being, 1 or 2 messages or 1 or 2 tags, or even like just tagging forever, like that may just not cut through.
Yeah.
It's funny you I can't remember your exact words, but I texted Ian before we got on, Ian Jones, who is also Tamron ambassador. I texted him and I said, question for you. If someone asked you how you became a Tamron ambassador, what would you say? And I said, without writing an entire thing, being painfully brief. And one of the things he said was, I would tell them to annoy the shit out of them. Like I did.
Yeah. It's tongue in cheek. You don't want to be really annoying, but you want to be persistent. I think that's the real word to be thinking about, is being persistent and like finding a contact, finding someone, going through like, hey, Ian, I loved your work for a long time. I followed you for a long time. Do you have a minute for a conversation? Being polite in people's DMs to make those connects, and then ask a question. Do you have someone that I can contact at Tamron? I have an idea. I have a pitch. I have a body of work from all their lenses, whatever it may be, to get into someone. Like, work smart, not necessarily hard. I think in this avenue.
You know what the thing is about that quote though? Work smarter, not harder. Is you have to fucking work hard to know how to work smart.
Yeah, true.
Like it takes slaving away and just being inefficient to figure out how to be efficient.
Yeah, you really need both, I think, to be honest. You have to be working hard in a smart way to really push through. But I mean, like you said, you could, I'm going to post 3 times a day and tag Tamron. Okay, you're one of 10,000 people today.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to do it. You're working really hard, but you're missing the mark here.
Yeah.
Your aim point's wrong.
For sure. So I guess what I'm saying is perhaps that crazy level of effort, you'll get to a point where you'll realize, this isn't working. There's a better way to do this. And then the smart, more efficient way comes. But you don't know what you don't know. Right.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't want to, we'll go in sections here. I don't want to speak entirely about myself, but how does this pertain maybe to you in some of the companies you've worked with, the cabins you've worked with? I mean, what's the best example to use for you here?
I think Stio.
Okay.
Stio is a company that I was attracted to, getting into hiking and just outdoor life, and getting into skiing last year too, and like rekindling that sort of love a bit. My son's into it, so that might be a winter hobby that I pick up a bit. I don't know how crazy I'll get back into
running, skiing, podcasting, dadding.
Whew.
And this guy still gets 8 hours. I know for a fact.
That's why I'm doing running for a cheap hobby. Except now I just bought a Garmin watch and made it expensive, but
yeah, but that lasts a long time.
It does. Hopefully, knock on wood. But Stio was a company that I saw people representing. So my antennas are out. Okay, they invite this. They invite people representing their brand. I started noticing it within my own league, let's call it. Like, okay, their following's close to mine. Our photo quality is similar. Like, what's the deal here? How do you get in? What are they offering? And certain companies offer things that are way better than others, and certain companies don't offer anything. And I really liked Stio's program. So all ambassadorships or ambassadorship, is that a word?
Yeah.
Ambassadors, aren't created equally. Let's put that out there, that it can look very different depending on the company. The way Stio had their application process and their qualifications and what they offered, to me, seemed reasonable at the time. Now, is it a huge payday? Absolutely not. This works really well for them as a company too. If we have all these ambassadors out there promoting our stuff and doing really quality marketing and photography for a relatively low price or trade in goods, that's a great deal for us. We're having many legs of the octopus or arms of the octopus out there advertising for us for not huge amounts of money, not huge licensing fees, not huge anything, just sort of these deals. And at the time I was like, I would love some Stio stuff. I'm going to apply for this ambassadorship. So I did. And it was an in. You sign up for these things, you get logged in, you get an account, you get codes, you get websites or links, and they track if you're selling stuff, and you get a little bit of a kickback, and you get free gear. In this sense, $300 worth of gear. And this is all on their site. Anyone can look this up. I'm not giving out any secrets here, but $300 per season. So fall season, hey, do you want to do a couple of posts and a couple of stories for $300 of gear? And at that time, it was like, yeah, I do want to collect some nice clothing and nice gear, and I don't mind representing it.
What a free lotto ticket too, to build a body of work as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, to be able to say, I worked with Stio, this really big brand, to have relationships when we go on our retreats or our trips, to be able to say like, hey, do we want to reach out? I have a connect there. Do we want to do something with something? Like, just to have those connections, I think is good. To have that body of work is good. To be able to, clothing these days is pretty expensive if you want quality stuff. To be able to get some really quality outdoorsy stuff has been great for a small price on my end, like a couple of photos. Now you're able to tie it into a trip and say like, hey, like, this is what I do. When I went to Alaska with you recently, my entire suitcase was Stio stuff. So any photo that I took of myself or videoed myself or you took of me, the chances of me wearing Stio that now I can use this at some other point and relieve my duties of having to post certain things is completely done. So if I go to a cabin, you better believe I'm wearing Stio, so I can sort of represent that and do those things. It makes life easier. So again,
it's an easy introduction too to brands and cabins in that sense as well, or brands and right.
And so that's there. For me, where it gets maybe long in the tooth is like quarterly being like, hey, you need 2 more posts and 2 more stories. And it's like, for me, it's a bit tough. I don't love being in front of the camera. Like, I do at times, and sometimes I can capture a good photo or someone does of me. I just don't love modeling. It feels off. So I could do it once a year. You might see a good photo of me once a year hiking or with my dog or whatever, a couple times a year. But when you constantly are doing it quarterly, like, it starts to feel a certain way to me. and this is my own thing, and I'm not saying anyone else should feel this way or does feel this way, but it just starts to feel a little like, is my site about modeling clothing like my Instagram, or is it about nature and outdoors stuff? Right. And like I'm peddling this company. Again, good company. I've had good experiences with them. But that's where it feels like, okay, you keep using my photos like as when are we good? Like when are we good? And how many more clothing items do I need? Trying to not fill my closet with every color of plaid shirt that they have. I don't need it, but it can get into that thing of like, oh, I feel cool that I am part of this thing. Do I have to keep doing this the rest of my life to be a part of it? Can I take a season off? What have you? I don't know. I'm not at that point yet, but that's just been my experience. I think it's important to understand this is not client work. It's something a little bit different.
Good point. Brand work is a little bit different. I would think brand ambassadorship work is a bit different than client work.
Yeah, especially when they have it like really contracted well, and you are essentially agreeing to give up your photos no matter how good they are, your reels no matter how good they are, how viral they go, for a set sort of deal, a set sort of like, hey, this was part of the deal. You had to do this and you got this shirt. And it's like, well, that reel just went like,
which is why, this is, we're getting ahead, but this is why you have to have a really good relationship with your contact at the company. Mm-hmm. So for example, we were just in Alaska, right? And we did this lens review video for the 16 to 30 millimeter for Tamron. Ambassadorship hyphen client work, right? And what I mean by that is it's not traditional client work in the sense because Tamron sends me a lot of lenses. They sponsor the show. There's writing gigs that I do for them. So it's not right to charge someone like that full price, which, mm-hmm. You're offering deals and discounts, and it's a lot of give and take. And so you better really like the brand or the company and the person that is your contact there, because you're going to be doing a lot of stuff for free, feels like for free, or at a much lower price than if it was, a company you had just been introduced to, right? Or that you pitched, or who reached out to you. There's lots of moving parts to consider. In our example of the review video, licensing it to Tamron, like that'd be a very expensive video for any other company, but you have to consider all the things I just mentioned: the support sponsoring the show, the support with lenses, being well received, being open to receiving good ideas from their creators, treating their creators like really well. These are just things you have to kind of think about and be okay with. But I like your point that it's important to realize there's a difference between, they're not a client. Like, you guys are kind of a team. You are a team.
And I think to add to that, I think it's a great point, Seth, that I don't suggest collecting ambassador sort of tags willy-nilly with companies that you're not crazy about. Or like, if I go into my Instagram, I could do it right now. If I go into my hidden requests, hi, I'm on the promoter team of Harem Fits. We think you're a perfect fit for our wear and our active wear. Check it out, say collab, and we'll have a conversation. Okay. No, like that's that. Straight to sure, I could get some. I could get some free active wear. I'm getting into running, but it's not doing it for me. I've never heard of the company. Like, I don't want to be tied to this sort of contract or this agreement. I don't want to create a bad situation where I agree to something and then not wanting to fulfill it, or the clothing is not of quality and now I have to have a tough conversation. Like, I think those deals are great when you're really a fan of the company and you can work with them and understand that you're basically like you're trading, like you're agreeing, hey, yeah, I'll give you some of my talent so I can have some of your talent, and I'm good with
Right.
that relationship. And maybe, like you said, then you have relationships and you can say, hey, I have this idea. Do we want to do this? What can we do for the budget? Where can we go forward? Now we have a contact, we have a body of work. We love this stuff. We want to help them. We want them to succeed. And we keep growing together. Where it becomes a
Yes.
real hassle is if you're obligated to do these things and you're like, I don't stand with this company. I don't stand what they believe in. I don't really like their products, but I agreed to do these things. And just because I wanted to feel cool or whatever, then it gets
Sure.
yucky.
Sure. Good segue, which was, I forget exactly what you said. Where can we go with this? This is a good segue. I think I should bring up how the Tamron thing came to be, because I said at the start of this episode, it is completely different from the 500 PX ambassadorship. So I think I've been a Tamron ambassador since 2022. I could be wrong on that. I was shooting. Let me think about how to best structure this story. I was shooting Sigma at the time. It was my wildlife lens. I had a 150 to 600 contemporary Sigma lens on my Canon DSLR, going way back. And no hate to Sigma. The lens worked fantastic. It was a great lens. I have nothing bad to say about that lens. I had a 24 to 70 f2.8 lens from Sigma as well. I've since sold both of them. Nothing but good things to say about those two lenses, and you're hearing that from a Tamron ambassador. I'm not about, grifting in that sense.
Yeah.
The reason I reached out to Tamron was, and this is, again, no disrespect to Sigma, maybe it was bad timing. It could be a number of factors. I felt like I had several good ideas, and who knows, maybe they weren't, or maybe they just didn't fit marketing goals, that I had presented to a contact there. And communication was, I guess, not great. Like 2 weeks between emails. Life's busy. I'm not blaming anybody. I understand that. I just want to make that really clear. The bottom line is, it just didn't seem like there was any desire to put in motion any of these ideas that I thought were very creative and very effective collaboratively, right? So I was annoyed. So I asked our good friend of the show, Ian, because I had a really good relationship with Ian at this time. Mm-hmm. I knew he was a Tamron ambassador. I wouldn't go to somebody that I didn't have a really good relationship with, and if I didn't believe in myself, my quality of work, and my ideas. I went to him and I said, hey, do you have a contact at Tamron? And now, obviously, Tamron is Sigma's number one competitor. They're both, the two big third-party lens companies, right? For people who don't want to pay full pop for native glass, right? Yeah. Great lenses. So to this day, super grateful to Ian, because Tamron has brought a lot of opportunities for me, for the show, for income, exposure, whatever. Grateful. So in my initial email to my contact at Tamron, I professionally voiced my frustration. Now, some people may disagree with this, but hear me out. I didn't say, oh, like Sigma sucks and I want to switch, or I didn't bash Sigma. I said something along the lines of, if I really took my time, I could dig and find the email. Something along the lines of like, hey, I've been shooting Sigma. It's been, a really great lens for me. I just feel like I have a lot more to offer in terms of marketing and ideas, and there's not really any reception over there to them. I'm looking to be a part of a family that is interested in doing fun, creative, and exciting things together over the long term and not one-off things. And I'm curious if I can, try some lenses and shoot with the couple Tamron lenses, build a body of work with your lenses, and see where things go from there. Yeah, I got like an email probably within a couple days, if I recall. And there's a couple things to that story I feel that are important to note. One, I was honest about where my current lens that I was shooting with at the time. Mm-hmm. I don't feel I was disrespectful. I was honest in voicing concern, right? This one's really important. I think companies really want to steal their number one competitor's users. Right? Like, am I crazy in thinking that?
No. Why wouldn't they?
Right. Why wouldn't they? And I think to come in there with an email like that cold is pretty bold, and the right person will resonate with it. And in this case, I feel like they did. And I think the key word is I'd like to become, so understanding that I'm not, just because my friend has given me a contact, I'm not in. I would like to become part of this family, part of this team. And I would like to contribute to it over this is the key word, long term.
Yeah.
And the rest is kind of history. Year or two later, they're sponsoring the podcast. They've been an excellent sponsor, as listeners know, over the last, 2-3 years?
Yeah.
You can't really see unless, they're packed away. They're in my Nanook case. Tons of lenses that cover all my focal ranges. Very open to ideas, whether they execute on them or not. They want to hear them. I think the number one reason when people ask me, why are you an ambassador for that company? I don't say it's because the lenses are great, but I don't say that as the first reason. I say they treat creators so well. Ambassadors are not. Like they are pretty responsive on socials. They listen to what people have to say. They're open to hearing constructive feedback. And that's just kind of my vibe. So, and I guess, again, this hammers the point home of collaborate and hook up with companies, products, businesses that have your value system.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it just goes to show, again, relationships, that's a key. It's a key factor in all of this. Knowing people, knowing Ian, having a good conversation with him, building a relationship that's built on trust and mutual admiration, and him knowing your work and feeling comfortable giving out a contact, right?
Right. That's a big deal.
That's a really big deal. And
I hope people understand how big of a deal it is when you ask someone for that, because that puts them in a very awkward position. Like, you need to know 100% that you have a level of rapport with that person that's going to avoid all awkwardness, where it's like, you better know when you get down on one knee that they're going to say yes, right? Like, hopefully, right?
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, relationships and finding companies come down to people typically, and the relationships within them and having a good fit.
So let me ask you this then, to send the conversation in your direction now. How do you like to build and maintain relationships with people?
I like to be excited about the products, and I know that can wane and change. And like I said, like, how much clothing do you really need to like keep this going? There comes a point where it's like, let's let someone else do it. Honestly, like, let's let someone else do it. I'm not missing my payday by not being an ambassador, or getting, $300 worth of clothing per quarter. I don't need that. I'm okay. But then there's certain companies where like you just want to be a part of it. Telefunken for me I'm not an ambassador for Telefunken. I'm not in the music industry. I love music, as we know. I love their microphones. I love being a part of some of the things that they've done. They invited me to their Christmas party or holiday party this winter, where they had a really cool band there and in their sound stage and all their equipment going. And I was part of that, like you said, that family. And it felt just the invite, and it was like a ticketed event, and he was like, you can invite 4 people if you want. I was like, wow, like they reached out to me, who did like this side project for them. That feels really good, in a sense, that they're me part of the team. And I'm hard on myself, like trying to figure out new ideas and ways. Like they re-signed me this summer, to keep going with creative microphone stuff. There comes a point where your brain's like, it slows down. And in the beginning, I have 1,000 ideas. Now I have like one trickles in every once in a while, and it's been a slower output. And I can only do so many creative things, I feel like, with music that's not music. So there's that challenge there to like keep that relationship going and keep the communication going. But what I'm looking for, I think, is just like fair communication and appreciation, reciprocal sort of trust and admiration of each other. Like just sort of like, hey, we love what you do. And you're like, yeah, I love what you guys are doing. It's kind of like Nooch and Goose, right? Like we just had that episode. He's a super fan of what they're doing, and he wants to be a part of it, and he's working hard because of that, and it's being rewarded.
Yeah. The thing I'll say about all of these scenarios that we've described too, is that from the initial beginning of the relationship, there was a body of work that made the brand comfortable enough to bring you on board.
Yeah.
And then within the projects you work on with that brand, you're building like a subset body of work that makes them even more confident to do more things. So in Nooch's example, they just saw his amazing photography after he made a connection with them at that concert, which got him in, which was then an opportunity to prove that he belonged to be there for the long term.
Yeah.
Why I'm saying this is back to the start of our conversation. Have a good body of work somewhere. I don't care if it's Instagram. I don't care if it's your website. Like, have a good quality body of work.
Yeah.
Not the best.
No, good.
Not even in like the top 5%. Just like really good work.
Capable and concepts and good work. And I would say also to that, we talk on the show a lot about getting your fair amount of money and what's given to you or what should be given to you and what these photos and content is worth for these people. But that's more of a business. That's just business. All right. I will hedge that bet with saying, if you don't go in with true passion about the work and money is a secondary thing, it might not serve you as well. If Nooch went in,
primary thing,
if money shouldn't be the primary thing necessarily to get in the door and to prove yourself and play the long game. If Nooch from the start was like, I know what these photos are worth. I want $500 per concert photo. They're going to be like, yeah, they're good, but sorry, dude. Like, and if he like stuck to that, the relationship might have squandered. But because he believed in them, he did a lot of stuff for above and beyond. He went a lot of free stuff and like, let me show you what I can do so that you cannot dispose of me. You won't want to.
How can I become indispensable?
That's where when you love the company, it's much easier to be like, dude, I'll work my ass off to get some of these microphone photos because I want to be a part of this whole thing versus like, I'll do it if you pay me. Like they're like, okay, well, no, it's not in the budget. But then you do it and you're like, and they're like, whoa, we never thought of something like that. Like that's really,
Yeah.
that was creative and different. It has nothing to do with music, but it really shows off the colors. Obviously the colors are important to us on these microphones. Like this is cool. We want to see more. Like
Yeah.
what would it take for us to see more? And then you're like, let's do it for a reasonable price.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's great. And then you're back the next year and they're like, well, how about we do this project? Could you do this? And then you're like, yeah, let's get closer to fair, but I still want to be a part of it. I don't want to work you out of the game. I want to be a part of the team. Like what works for you?
Yes. I'm nodding my head. Yes. Because I felt this way with Camp Hanaka, the summer camp I've been shooting again this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Man, like I just feel part of that. It started out as a pitch, like I'd like to do work for you guys. And after 2 years there, like I want to just go there and shoot.
Yeah.
You know? It's like you feel kids are coming up to you like, hey, cameraman, like some of them know my name. Like I gave one kid my Osmo to run around camp for the day, trusting him with an $800 thing. But like you just feel like part of a family where you forget about the money. And I know we're getting off brand ambassadorship here. We'll get back on track, but I feel like you should try and get to a point with client work like that where I was sad that my gig ended this August with summer camp with Panaka because it's so fun being there because I love being outside. I love swimming. I love canoeing. I love doing all that stuff. So because of that, I want to document it in the best possible way ever so that these marketing materials get more kids to experience that thing that I value so much. And when you get to a place like that with a product, a brand, your best work shines through. It has to because you care about it.
Yeah. And I think we're getting off topic, but I think it is topic because in my experience, ambassadorships, unless you're like their guy, unless you're Chris Burkhardt that's working with, I'm making stuff up, but like one camera company and now he's an exclusive deal and he can't talk to or do anything else with, unless you're that. If you're promoting, which most things are, you're promoting their brand, you're tagging them, you're doing a few things here and there. It's not going to be about the money. These are not the money gigs. This is about, I want to be a part of this culture. I want to represent this brand. I want to use this brand. I do use this brand. I like this brand. I want to be a part of it. I want to share I'm using this brand all the time. Why not share it? And why not have me be part of the team? Because that feels that feels good. I feel like my stuff's being utilized. And I feel like I like the story of this brand. And it's not about the money because it's not going to be. It's going to be like you'll get some nods here and there. You'll get some free things, maybe a little bit of coin here and there, but it's not going to be the same sort of marketing budgets that people are looking for certain things.
Mm-hmm. Well, then to get back on the ambassador talk, I think one question people coming into this, if they see the title, will be, well, how do you pitch yourself to brands? That P word. And this conversation is almost alluding to the fact that you kind of don't. I know people might be frustrated by that, but up until this point, if you've been listening, that kind of makes sense. You fall into it. You fall into it. And I think it's up to you to then suggest, if you want that official label, to make the suggestion after so many case studies with that company.
Yeah. I
don't like this idea of how do you pitch yourself, because it gives this vision that you come in cold and you try to convince someone.
Oh, and some of them have like an affiliate, like ambassador and affiliate. They're slightly different for sure. Some just have literally like a link on their site. You want to be an ambassador? Give us your links. How many followers do you have? What's your body of work? We'll take a look at it. You'll hear from us soon. Oh, you want to be an affiliate? That's even easier. Do you have over 1,000 followers or whatever their recommendation is? Yeah, you do. All right, we'll give you a try. Like I said,
hey, nothing wrong with that either.
No.
But I think if you're looking for that family feeling, if you're not looking for that family feeling or feeling like you want to grow or be a part of something as a whole, if you don't have that feeling, don't go looking for an ambassadorship.
Right. Would agree.
Another thing, somebody might ask is, what do brands look for in a videographer ambassador? I feel like we've kind of covered this, but just to like spell it out, I think have a good body of work. Mm-hmm. And I think we were kind of talking about this beforehand. To be responsive, consistent, authentic, say what's on your mind, present good ideas. That's all you need. You don't need to be in the top 5% of the most skilled photographers. If anything, I would say a lot of companies want people that are more relatable. Maybe not all the time, I'm sure obviously companies represent superstars who are incredible in their field. But I still believe that mastering the fundamentals, great emails, great ideas, responsive, deliver on time, do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, that's
mention things when there's hiccups. Here's how we can fix this. Solution oriented. That stuff will not be beat. I'm shaking my hand if you're watching on YouTube. I'm doing this one.
Yeah.
It won't be beat. Like there's a reason people like, sports athletes, Tom Brady and stuff, they go to practice and they just do fundamentals over and over and over and over and over again. Man, like that's the bread and butter. You got to just hammer home those things because they're boring. They're not sexy. They're not exciting. Just being a master at mundane, boring things that people get sick of or can't focus on will set you apart.
Yeah, I have nothing more to add to that, but it's very true. It's very true. Be mature, be grateful, be communicative. Do it well, do it often, and get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
If you really like a company, do some free work, pitch some ideas, reach out, find a contact, be an affiliate. Oh, I really want to be an ambassador. I don't want to be affiliate. That seems lame.
Right.
Oh, you lose already.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Like get in there and try it. Find some companies, look at their websites. A lot of them have links and they're looking for photo work and they're looking for creative people to do things. Look at, maybe they even want jobs in their job postings. You could potentially find something that is interesting in a way to get in.
Sure.
And have additional skills.
Sure. Another thing I want to mention too is suggest tasks or roles that you can fulfill that match your skill set. And I'll use myself. That's an example because that's all I can do here. So with Tamron, right? They don't come to me for any social media stuff, really. Maybe like the odd post, or we'll collab on, I think we're going to collaborate on the short form review video we made, but they have their big photographer accounts that they'll reach out to and pay money to do a review, or they have that. Like that's part of their marketing strategy. Like they're not coming to me for social media content because they know I don't like socials. They know I'm not posting 3 times a day.
Yeah.
They know those things. And I want to let people know this because I want to let you know that if you're not big on socials, it doesn't matter. You probably have a skill set as a photographer that can still serve them. So what do they come to me for? They come to me for the show here. They come to me for writing assignments because I love writing. Like I do a lot of blog posts, right? So like you can be an ambassador and do different roles within the company. You don't need to be doing everything.
Right.
You don't need to be the front-facing camera influencer. Maybe there's an area that doesn't exist. Maybe that's your in. Hey, I would be really good at doing this. I have prior experience as a journalist. I'm also a photographer. I love your lenses. Can I try one out? I mean, that's using that example. Don't everyone go rush and pitch Tamron because my contact will be upset. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's different roles that exist or you can create within a company that will fit your current skill set, and then you can grow from there.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, get in at the ground level. If you love the company, you won't mind working at the ground level and working your way up.
Yeah.
I just think that.
And then another question I wrote down, I was writing questions, down, trying to get in the mindset of somebody who's listening, what they would want to hear, what they may ask. Any mistakes to avoid or lessons you've learned? This may seem obvious, but your contact is your contact. Don't go straight to marketing or around them or over their head with ideas. Your contact is your contact. Set up phone calls, check in with your people, have a yearly, where they just see your face and you can ask how things are going. Those are kind of nuanced, but I think those two things are very, very important. And I would say another one is when you think you have a really great idea and they turn it down, don't continue to push it. Take the no. It may still be a great idea. It just may not fit the current overarching goals.
Yeah.
I think we can get attached to our ideas. Like, well, why don't they want to do it? I've been there. So those are kind of maybe some three nuanced things that I would suggest.
Yeah. I would suggest too, like, say you start as an affiliate somewhere and you have to do 2 posts and 2 stories. That's what everyone's doing. That's the minimum. That's what they want. Do a bit more. Try to push yourself. Again, we're all trying to stand out a little bit. Stand out in certain ways. I've done it with cabin stuff or we have too, where we mention like, hey, we have a podcast too. Would that be interesting if we did a podcast or did some recording in your cabin space and then tagged? Like trying to go above and beyond in different ways that other people might not have access to or think about, I think can set you apart. Again, Nooch was on the show. He's talking about his engineering career and building things for these sets or Goose's photo ideas or video ideas, creating the actual concept versus just like, I'm going to try to take a photo of what's happening, like actually creating it. And that sets him apart from probably most photographers to be able to weld metal and machine shop certain things to make a photo or a video.
That guy's a freak. That guy's a freak. So, he's in. I don't know many people. I don't know if I know anyone who is more of a savage than Mike.
No. But again,
that's your competition. I don't mean that to demoralize you. It's just the level of work. Go back and listen to that episode twice, last week's if you hadn't, or go
last week's and the other one.
Put in the search bar, Nooch at Nooch10, Mike Noocherino on this show, and listen to the progression. He was the 4th episode ever. We're on 288. I forget where his second one was. He came on a 3rd time and then a 4th time. Listen to them in succession and just listen to that ride. It's insane.
It is insane. But the good news is he's busy doing what he's doing with one rock and roll band right now. Yeah. So he's out of the game. But that is the mentality, I think, of, I'm really into this outdoor apparel company. I'm going to hit it hard. I'm going to show them a lot of different things. And I'm going to keep doing it until I get in the door, as small as it may be, and build up from there.
Yeah. We'll perhaps try and get a brand ambassador or a company on and ask what they look for, because I think this isn't a one size fits all, right? Like it's going to be different for everybody, and for, you know, companies are looking for different things.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard of companies who just, they're like, hey, we don't want any content. We don't want you to post anything. Don't put anything in your bio. We just want you to be boots on the ground and make connections for us. If you think there's a good person we should be introduced to, please do that. I've heard that. I've heard, you know, we need 2 posts, 2 reels per month as part of the thing, and everything in between, man. So, you know, one last thing I'll say is if you're wanting to be an ambassador for the clout, or because you want free stuff, I don't know if it's going to work out for you. I think those are just consequences and bonuses of being authentic and being really psyched to be part of a family.
Yeah. I would agree. Those ones fade quick.
Cool. Well, that's today's episode.
That's all I got. I'm ready for bed.
Leave comments on Spotify if you have more questions that we should follow up with. DM us, email us. If there's things you feel like we missed or that you wanted to hear more on, we value those suggestions. And as always, feel free to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It's a cost-free, effective way to support the show. With that, good night, man.
Take care.